So for today, we'll be looking at dashboard. So today's class is actually going to be very interactive. We'll be talking all through the class. So feel free to raise up your hand once you have something to say. So today we'll be talking about dashboard. And now my first question is, what is a dashboard? Or when do you get to design a dashboard as a designer? Okay, so I'm waiting for a response. Anybody, what is a dashboard? If the question is what is a dashboard, and when do you get to design a dashboard as a designer? Guys, we are intermediates. You can't tell me that nobody knows the answer in this class.
Hello,
Hello, good evening, Susu.
good evening. Okay, a dashboard design is an interactive tool that allows you to track and analyze metrics for your design, and also allows you to display various types of visual data in one place. Yeah.
Okay, so the second question, when do you get to design a dashboard? Guys, are you sure we are in this class? We are up to 20, we are 23 on this call, and no, say 22, and nobody is saying anything, not even on the chat.
Hello. Okay,
Hello.
I'm going to I'll define it in layman language. So I think when you get to when you are expected to design a dashboard, it's, for example, when you are probably designing a application, and you know that application has various of course application have various screens, but in this case you expect, like, you design it for different will I say different screens. And again, we have dashboard for users and dashboard for admin, where the users can actually come in. They have their own dashboard, their own space where they can interact with the website, while the admin also have their own space where they interact with the website. So just like you need a dashboard because you want your user to interact with the website at the same time the admin interact with the website. I don't know if that's right, but that's how I understand it.
Okay, so you are correct. So a dashboard, I can see some responses. A dashboard is you're expected to design a dashboard when you have a lot of information to organize and monitor and display. A dashboard is used to show monitoring and visualization. So yeah, they are all actually very correct. As a designer, there are some projects that you'll be asked to handle. There are some projects that you do that there is no need for designing a website. The only thing you need for that kind of project is maybe the landing page and all of that. Those, for instance, if you're asked to design a customer management system, CRM, you know that customer relationship management system, you know that you're not going to design a website. It's not going to be like a website. It's going to be mostly a CRM. It's going to be a dashboard. So what exactly is a dashboard? A dashboard is a screen that we use to organize. It's a visual representation of information. We use dashboards to represent complex information in a very simple format for people to for people to be able to understand what they are doing. Now, let's take another instance. You want to design a dashboard. Remember that even for dashboards, we have user flows and all of that, but most people think that it's only when we want to design for web and mobile that we get to use a user flow. Now, see, for instance, we want to design something like a dashboard that helps that people need to book for appointments. Let's say doctor's appointment app, and you want to design something like that. The first thing you do, you also do the same research process and all of that, and think of the dashboard. Now, it's even very easy to visualize it in your head before bringing it up. If I want to design something like that, the first thing I'm going to consider is what are the data I want people to see, and I don't want it to be very complex. What do I want them to see when they come to, once they log into their account or once they sign into their account? What's the first thing I want them to see? Okay, say I want them to see the number of say the number of appointments they've done, the number of doctors that are online, the number of these. Then I also want them to see, let's say this part now, like Susu said, that you can have dashboard for both the user and for the admin. So let's say for the admin part, you're the admin of this particular doctor's appointment app. You would want to see the number of customers that or the number of clients that have booked for an appointment on a particular day so that you can approve it or delete it. You get to see all of those data. Now, all of those data are data you would want to put on your dashboard. But the first thing is you now get to say, okay, how do you interpret this data in a way that it will be easy for users to be able to comprehend what you already have there. So one thing you need to note when you're trying to design any dashboard is that it needs to be very clear. You need to display just the required information, because just the same way we have in information architecture, the one we did previously, we said something about content overload, that there are some things you don't need to do. There are some content that you don't need to put in your designs. So those content, always ask yourself this particular question. I want to add this content. If I add it, will it disturb the flow? Will users get confused? If the answer is no, just know that those content, that particular content is not really as important as, it's not really important. So you can make do of that particular content. So that's one thing you also need to consider in a dashboard, to reduce content overload and to make sure that the only thing you're displaying there is something that is required, that when users look at a particular dashboard, they'll be able to know what they need to do in 5 seconds. So I've seen some dashboards that once you look at the dashboard, you're confused. People tend to put a lot of graphical maps, a lot of maps, full dashboard, and most times you don't even know if this is a dashboard or this is another thing. So one thing you need to note that your dashboard should always be clear. It should also be meaningful. Always just include meaningful information. It should also be consistent. So I've also seen a situation where people design dashboards and they're not consistent with their layout, organizations, their content, and all of that. Worst of it all, you see inconsistent alignments. If you're using 2 pixel to let's say you're using 8 pixel for your spacing, sometimes when it comes to dashboard, people don't really put all of those things into consideration. Now, how do you design a dashboard? That's the number one question. How do you design a dashboard? First, you need to know your audience. You need to know the people that that would need to use the dashboard. If they are, let's say for instance, you're designing something for people that are mathematicians, statistic people, you will get to put a lot of figures and they will get to understand it. But if you're designing something for someone that is not, you're designing for children, you don't need to put a lot of graphs and all of that to show what you want to do. So you need to focus on your audience to ensure that you know what the kind of outcome you want to expect from them. Now, we'll be looking at, I'll just be talking about the different things, the different rules you need to put to consider when you're trying to design a dashboard. And then we'll be looking at some of the dashboards on this screen, some of these examples I was able to this note these pictures we're getting from Google. So we'll be looking at them. You notice that we have some for don't and we have another for do. So I'll just be explaining it, and um at intervals someone will get to unmute and tell me what you feel that is wrong with this particular dashboard and what they did better to make it better. So the first one is hierarchy. When you're designing your dashboard, you need to make sure that it is clear. You need to make sure that it displays just the important information, and you also need to make sure that you're dividing the information into categories that people would see them and be able to understand what it is. So I have the first dashboard here. Can you see my screen boldly, or I need to play this? Hello, can you see my screen very well?
Yeah,
Yes,
go
we
ahead.
Okay. Okay. So so this is the first dashboard. This is the first dashboard. This is what I want you to look at. What do you think is wrong with this dashboard as against the second one? This is the second one that that has a do, and this is the first one. Okay, guys, you can just type it in the chat if you don't want to talk, but then talking is part of your journey, so you always need to unmute and talk as a UI UX person. So the first one, the information we are arranged in order of priority. Are you talking about the first one? So we are looking at the first one first, the one that has don't. First, this is fine, but what do you think is wrong with this particular dashboard? Okay, so let me just explain what is wrong with this dashboard. Now, in designing a dashboard, there are some things you don't do. For instance, you have key elements. You have key elements. You have key things that you need to always display. We're talking about hierarchy now. The arrangement. There are some statistics that are so important in every dashboard that you don't need to arrange it downwards. Now, the only difference between this, remember that we are talking about hierarchy for now. The only difference between this first dashboard and the second dashboard is just arrangements. Sales by country is something. It's a very important, or it's key. It's a key feature for this particular dashboard. Remember that the first thing I said is, before designing a dashboard, you need to know who it's for, and you need to know your target audience. Now, say this the target audience of these people. Yes, the values that were below are values that are supposed to be on top. They are values that are supposed to come before time. So say you're designing for an admin, and the admin is supposed to see statistics before even anything. So as an admin, if I come, I should be able to see the country that is leading. So if I'm referring back to the company, I'm referring back to sales team, I should tell them, okay, this country is leading by so number. I think we should get to increase our marketing in this other country. So these are things I would want to see as an admin. So you don't need to put that down. So there's something about our eyes. In UX, they said it, that there's something about our eyes. Our eyes tend to look we tend to look at from up to down. So it's very important that once you're designing a dashboard, or once you're designing any dashboard, you need to ensure that you put all of the items that are supposed to be first and not take them as last. So that's it for the first one. That's it for hierarchy. key thing you need to note, always put items that are supposed to come before each other. Always organize your items in the way that they come, the most important ones come before the others. Now, the next one is simplicity. The core reason why you're designing a dashboard is to present complex information in a very understandable terms. People should be able to understand it. Don't provide a lot of information that it will be very difficult for people to understand. You need to also use fewer elements. There are some things that you don't need to display at once. There are certain things you don't need to display at once. Make it reduce what you can display, and display just the most important thing. Now look at this one that has don't. Let me zoom in my screen. Look at this one that has don't. The only reason why this is wrong is because there's a lot of information at once, and my eyes cannot be scanning to and fro looking for different information at once. So this is totally wrong. In as much as you want to put a lot of you want to put a lot of shapes, you want to put a lot of dashboard elements, like you want to put all of those things, try to limit it. Only use the most important information, and it's not even for everything you need to design, and you need to use a line chart, a pie chart, and all of those other charts. Are we together? So the third one is consistency. If you want to design a dashboard, your design should be consistent across board. It's not because you are designing a dashboard, you now don't want to use consistency. You now want to make your designs in here. You need to make sure, yeah, that your dashboard is easy to read. People will be able to read it. You need to also make sure that you group elements that are related to each other. So just look at this. For the one that we have don't, you need to present. You can see that they presented different layouts, and it's not making sense. So you need to use similar visualization, something that people would easily understand once they see it. Something that if they go to another system, they would still see the same thing. Proximity, you need to also ensure that informations that are related are close to each other. Don't scatter this information everywhere. Ensure that they are related, these things that are related, they are close to each other, so that I can easily see it and understand it as a user, instead of trying to now waste time to now say, okay, what is this, what is not this, and all of that. Then the next one is alignment. As you can see this design, would you say this design is aligned? No. The answer is no, this is not aligned. You can see that it's scattered everywhere. Here we have 14 here. We have, I think, this should be 8 or 24. This should be 64. This should be 24. This should be different line spacing. It's not properly aligned. So when you're also designing, you need to think of alignment. There's also another thing in dashboard that you need to consider, which is line space. Take a look at this design. You will notice that there is no breathing space. We have a lot that is even struggling to stay on this screen. It's not mandatory that you need to put every design. So that it's not mandatory that you need to put everything at once on your dashboard. Ensure that there's a lot of space, there's a lot of white space. The beauty of design is when you design something and you have a lot of white space, and it's easy for people to know, it's easy for people to see it and say, okay, this is nice. One thing about design that we don't know is, even as a user that don't know what a design is, there's something that is very common, is once someone spots a bad design, the brain would easily tell this person that it's a bad design. So today I had a meeting with somebody, and in the process we're trying to audit a design, and I had to, in the design, we had something like a phone, we had a card, and we had lines connecting and pictures. So for each line that is connecting, we had a picture. So there's a line connecting to a picture, there's another line connecting to a picture. And then the first question he asked me that if you're not a designer and you don't know, nobody explains anything to you, what will be the first thing that comes to your mind just looking at this thing? Okay, so let me try to do something like that, and we just give. So let's say this is what we have here. Let's take this as the phone screen. Let me just make this a phone screen quickly. It's too much. 40, and then I add a stroke to it. Say I add 50. This is also too much. I had 20. Let me make it 20. And so let me get a frame to just illustrate what I want to do. So this is it. I have something like this, and then I have a card here. So this card is around just something like this. A card. Should I make the card white? Okay. So let me make the card another color. So something like this. It's too sharp. For the card, I'd have a 20. And then there is, so let me just get it. QR code. So let me make this thing look like a real card. So I have 3 of these. It's as fat as this. Then I have circles around it with a line for connectivity. Something like this, and I made this stroke to be so it was something like this. Okay, yeah. And I have this everywhere on the screen. Okay, just say something like this. I'm supposed to duplicate this also and bring it down, and then something like this. You're to see something like this and you're not a designer. What is the first thing that your mind will go to? What message is this thing passing? Okay, so guys, I need your response to be sure that you understand some things that are on design, because design is more understanding than it's more like I should be able to decode, or I should be able to understand what is on the screen without somebody explaining to me. That's the whole idea behind design. So that's why they tell you design is problem solving and not just visual colors and all of that. So I have something like this. What's the first thing that comes to your mind if you look at this as a layman? Just assume that you're a layman, or let's even assume that you're a designer.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I think for me, first of all, I'll be very confused because the only thing I can see here is just like a screen and a barcode. So now I like even the lines is not like a directional, there's no directional arrow pointing to like, okay, this is where it's going to, this is where it's going to, like the information, there's no information here for me to see aside the barcode. Yeah. I think that was
Okay.
what is my mind. It's
Okay, so
confusing.
let's assume that I have what's it called? Let's assume that I have images here. What do you think is the message this design is trying to pass with images?
Like different people connecting to that particular screen or that barcode. Like if we're having different images, that's to say, it means like different persons at the same time connecting to this particular barcode.
Okay. Any other opinion?
Hello.
So we don't
Hi.
have only Susu. Hello. Hello, good
Good
evening.
evening.
So, good
Yeah, good
evening.
Yeah,
evening.
so I think the circles are pictures of the app, and then when you scan the barcode, it takes you to where you can download the app.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what comes to
another aspect. Saka, you wanted to say
Okay.
something?
Yes, for me, I think the barcode takes you like to the next step, since that's the only thing that can lead you to the next, maybe the next page or what the designer wants you to see next.
Okay. Ibrahim.
Can I talk? Yeah, so
Yeah,
for
sure you
me,
can.
I feel like it's more like a social media app for people to connect with themselves, and then the barcode is for us to download the app.
Okay. So these are different things. Now these are actually different opinions. That's why you need to understand that in design, in design, there are actually people that would look at your designs and they would not get to understand it. That's why you need to design in a way that people would actually understand it. Now, from the conversation, I got to find out that this particular card is like what they are selling. That's what the platform is selling. So with the card, you can use the cards to do plenty things. So the whole idea is for you to use a card and tap on the phone. And once you tap on the phone, you'll be able to connect with all of these people. You'll be able to connect with this, connect with this, connect with this. But there was a mistake. First, there was no image on the phone. Like this is how the phone was appearing. There was no image on the phone. So different people had different opinion of what this particular thing is doing. I've heard social media. I've also heard different thing about this particular app. So this is to tell you that as a designer, for everything you design, there is a message that your design is supposed to pass. So now that you know that there is a message that your design is supposed to pass, you're supposed to ensure that anything you're designing, it will be very simple. Aside being simple, should be able to pass. So do not design anything and just leave it like that. Once you design, be able to ask yourself, what is this passing? What kind of message is this particular design passing? Now, this is what is leading me to my next rule of designing a dashboard, which is color. So you don't design a dashboard with 20 colors. First off, with the companies, their color and what they are trying to sell, the yellow doesn't even fit there. The yellow color doesn't even fit there. But then every designer has its own way. They all have their different ways of doing something. But try to ensure that once, yes, it looks like a presentation of the app. Yeah, something like that. But always imagine that you would not be there to explain your design to somebody. You would always not be there to explain your designs to the users. So the message you're trying to pass should be something that they would easily decode it without getting to rack their brains around it. Now the next thing we're talking about is color for dashboard. You can see that this is a dashboard, but the color is not even giving. The color is not sharp. The colors are just there. I would be so tired just looking at this thing. It's too dull. So when you're also trying to I've come to realize in my little way that there are some green colors, there are some shades of green that you should never use for your designs, no matter what. There are some shades of green that you should not use. The next one we'll talk about is fonts. For fonts, also use fonts that will be readable. Just imagine this design. You can see the font that the designer used. Now, in the designer's mind, they might be doing the right thing actually by trying to make it as fancy as possible, as fine as possible. But then in design, we say something about reading. Talking about that, I saw something today, and then I'm wondering why it's like this. You use fonts that it's not people can easily read it. When we talk about design, I am designed for accessible design. There's something we tend to forget, that our design to be used by different persons. In our world today, we have people with eye defects, a lot of people, because these days we spend almost 12 to 13 hours on our phones, on our laptops. For people that are designed overnight, you know that sometimes you spend almost 20 hours, 16 hours on laptop. Let's say for instance, I've been on my desk since morning, and I've been looking at my laptop. I've been looking at my laptop without glasses, and it's already tiring. It's already stressful that I look at my screen that long, and somebody will want to now stress the eyes again by using fonts that I cannot explain or I cannot read without getting to move closer to my screen. Now, the next one is number format. You need to know how to present your numbers. If possible, round off numbers where you need to round it off. For instance, this total earning, putting 40 points, this point, $40,000, 456 days, 0.22. There's no need for that point. Long numbers would be very difficult for people to understand. All you need to do is just approximate it. Nobody's coming to your house to ask you if how much have you made for real, for real. Nobody's coming there to ask you all of those things. Then the last one is label. Learn how to label your work. This is not a right way of labeling this. You can see this arrangement. It's not looking fine. It's not looking nice. It's looking anyhow. And it's something we don't need to do when designing. These are simple rules that we can just we might get to neglect. These are simple rules that we would get to neglect, but at the end of the day, it's something that we need, or it's something that is very important. So I've come to the end of the explanation. We'll quickly get to design a dashboard, but we'll get to design a dashboard. But before then, is there any question before we continue?
Hello. Please,
Hello.
can you repeat the explanation for the labeling? I didn't get
Okay,
it.
so you know that sometimes when you're designing as a designer, there's some data you need to represent. Just take a look at this January to December. All of this is representing this is representing this. But the way it's written, it's not organized. First off, it's not organized. If I'm to design this, I would, instead of leaving this like this, I'll make it down like this. Or the best thing is to reduce the font and just keep it reduce the font or reduce the numbers. So if I'm to do this, because I know how small it is, I can just say instead of writing January in full, sorry, let me get to change this. Okay. So instead of writing January in full, and I know that it's not going to contain, I might just leave it like this. I might just leave this January like this, and this should come up. Okay. So you can see that leaving it like this is better and more organized than leaving it the other way around. So this is about labeling. Then when I come here, I'll still do the same for this, and this will be Feb instead of February. So this is how to label your work very well. Then the next thing you can do to make this design better is to use auto layout to ensure that the spacings, you increase the spacings a bit, just a bit, to accommodate all of this. So do you now understand what I mean by labeling your designs?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So is there another question? Okay, so I should explain proximity. So just drop down your questions so that I'll take the ones I start answering the questions. I'll take the one after the other. I have is for proximity. Okay, so I guess there's no other question aside the one that Israel already asked. So about proximity, what it simply means is, you know that there are some things in designs that are related. Let's take for instance, um this data. Let me use this data here now. This data, total revenue, revenue by day, total earning, product sold, total revenue, and all of that. These data are related. Okay, it's just four. These four data, they are related. If I'm to design this, I am going to put all on one rule because they are all related. They are all talking about money. That's the same way when you talk about charts and graphs. They are also in the same group. So for proximity, it means that you should group those things that are related together. They should be close to each other. So it will be very easy for my eyes to just scan this, and I'm done. Then to now leave it, let me look for an example where they did not put them together. Okay, is there any other example like that? Okay, this is this. Just look at this. They are all the same. Can you see how they organized it, or can you see how they arranged it? They just left all of them on the same line. They are close to each other. They are closely related, so they are close to each other. Then for these ones, they are also close to each other. So for proximity, just group these items that are related, that are almost the same format, and keep them one place. So once I see the figures, I know that the only thing I need to do at this point now is to read the sub title, knowing revenue of the day and all of those other things. So do you get now, Israel? Okay, so for consistency is still the same thing we talk about in design. For consistency, if you're working with colors, your colors should be the same. If you're working with text, your text should be the same across board. You can't use size, let's say size 16 for this. And when you're representing something like this, another place, you're using size 20. That's it for consistency. Your colors, your visuals, your size, your shape, the box size should be consistent across board. It should be in a way that once I see it, I know that you're using same across board. I've seen designs where, or I've seen dashboards where, for instance, you know that when you want to start getting dashboard elements, if you go to community and you type dashboard elements, there are elements that are already there. So it's the same thing as fonts, as icons, where we say if you are using field icons, use field icons all through. If you're using outline icons, use outline icons all through. Don't use field and icons, field and outline in the same project. So okay, yeah, the visuals. Are you talking about the different charts? Yes, the different charts. You know that charts are in different categories. Now, for this circle, you can see that this circle is a bit different. This is a different form of circle used to represent data. If you're using this, stick with this all around. When there's no reason why, after using something like this for your design, at first you're now coming to this, let's say something like this, and let me duplicate it inside and reduce it. So let's say let me change this to white so I can easily see what I'm doing. Let's say this is a circle, this is another circle, and we've already used this, and then I want to now represent a data. I'm now bringing in this format in. You can see that I've already spoiled the whole process. I've already used a different thing altogether to spoil this process. Okay, that's it for this. Anita, I guess I've answered that question. So there's
Sorry,
some elements we have. Okay.
This in the picture, are these two charts the same? Would you consider these two the same? Because
So in the picture, these
yeah,
are circle. This is different from this. Oh,
okay,
they are two
okay,
different things. Yeah.
all right. That's what I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so for color, Chidima, for color, let's say for instance, let me use this to explain this. Let me explain this. This is a blue. This is another blue. Can you see that they are all blue colors, but different shades? So even in designing dashboards, the same way you design your mobile or your web, even when you're designing dashboard, if you're using a particular shade of blue, it should be that blue all through. Let me show you. Okay, this is what I use, the green color I used, for instance. You can see that the green color that is used here is different from the green that they've been using from the onset. This is the green they've been using from the onset. It's not the same with this particular green here. And also the color is not even matching and all of that. So it still boils down to, once you're selecting a particular color, kindly use that shade of green or that shade of blue as your primary color. So that's just the explanation for that. Do not try to use, this is 060ECC, and that's what you've been using from the onset. So maybe because you did not save it and all of that, and you want to do something, and now using 2328DB. They are the same, it's actually the same blue but different shades. So all of these are the minor mistakes we make when we are trying to design something. All right, so if there's no other question, we just move to designing. To designing a dashboard. So what dashboard do I want to design? Okay, so let me do something for sales. So before then, I need to gather my resources. So let me stop sharing here. I want to get a particular icon pack for a design that I'm already doing. So I'll just, pardon me. Let me stop sharing here. Okay, so okay, so remember when you're trying to arrange your design. So this is the icons I want to use for my design, and this is the page I use for explanation. So let me just name this assets. So I want to go to the next page where I don't get to, and I'll say dashboard. So let's say I want to do something for. So the first thing I do when designing a dashboard is, so I get to pick the particular desktop I want to use. I don't know, I like using this for this thing. So once I'm done picking it, the next thing I try to do is I get to my layout grid as usual. I'll change it to color, make it 12, and yeah. So this is what I want to do. Then the next thing I take up my rectangle, and I'll get to divide my screen. So I'll get to divide my screen to this. Then I'll do the same for the top. I'll go to design, divide my screen. So this is how I divide my screen first on grid. So I'll check this 244, and so I first of all divide my screens like this before I start doing anything I want to do. And then I know that this is where I'm going to list every other thing that would come in the design. This is where I'll list them. So first thing first, I'll start by, why am I using a rectangle? Why not a frame? So the reason I use rectangle is because for me I feel like it gives me that form of flexibility. At the end of the day, I can still convert it to a frame. So all I need to do when converting it to a frame, it's I just need to right click and click on convert to frame. That's if there's any need for me to convert to frame. But I prefer using rectangle so that I can properly group them and all of that. So that's my own reason. But if you feel like frame is actually good for you, you can also do it. Israel, depending on what, on the screen size that you're using. So for me, I like using around 250 and above, 250 to 300. So like I said in previous classes, that there is really no standard. So most of the things we feel like they are it's standard is really not what you need to hold. So sometimes when I put this and I notice that I need to write something longer, I'll get to increase it to 300 as the case may be. So just like what I did first was to use my layout grid to get this particular size. I know that if I do it to this part, it will be so long and so big. So remember not to make it too big and all of that. So that's why I'm sticking to 243. Okay. Yeah, 243. So the best way of designing, I don't know if I've said it before in this class, the best way of designing is designing and viewing your work. That's like the best way of designing. Design and view your work and see how it is. So I'll be playing this together with the design. So you can see that this 240 something is even still big. It's still big. So if you make it 300, it will be over big. So I'm just going to go back to adjust this. So for this, I'll reduce it to say 60 because it's looking too big when I played it. Okay. So or 80. Okay, now that I'm done with this, so the first thing I do is I tend to focus on my top nav bar first before I come to this part. So the next thing I'll do is what are the things I want to have on my top nav bar? That's the first question. Remember that you're trying to display images. You're trying to display, sorry, not images. You're trying to display concepts. You're trying to display content that your users would that it will be very easy for your users to know what they want. So then, so I'm just going to now change it. I'm not going to change the color or anything. Now, first of all, start working like that. Before I start working on my color, I just want to get the whole design and all of that. So the first thing for my navbar, I know what I want to see. I want to have a search where people can easily search for what they want on the dashboard. I want to have like a profile, and I want to have a notification bar. So these are the things I want to have on my dashboard, on my navbar first of all. So I'll start by arranging them one after the other. So if I've done my style guide, it would actually be very easy, but I don't have a style guide here. So I don't have all of those components. So I'll have to create these components from afresh. So I have this, and next thing I'm going to do is so do I want a so I'm just going to make this as round as possible. Then I'll get in my search. I already had to download some icons, so from a pack that I use. So I'm going to share this link after the class so that you can just get the icon pack, because I enjoy using this particular icon pack for design. So I'll just place it here first. The next thing I'll do is maybe a search here, and I'll reduce this to 12 and make it regular, and I'll keep it. So I would tend to, so this is 24 by 24. So I'd want to reduce it to 20 by 20. Um, so let's go and see. Okay, so it's obvious this is big, so I'm going to make it a 50, and I'll just bring this here. So I'll use auto layout to just align the shift A, and I'll reduce this to a 10. This percent 10, this is too big, and so I'm done with my search. All I need to do is just to okay, let me get to change the color and add a stroke to it. So I'll add a stroke, and I'll copy this color here, Ctrl C, and I'll make it the stroke. I'll remove this. So I'll bring it up here, and so you know that for the design system in the last class, I did not create a search icon, a search button. Sorry, I did not create that. Okay, so now that I have this placed here, so I have this placed here. I just need to check it out. This is still very big, so like Believe said, I'm just going to make it 45, and I'll leave it there. And I will align this to ensure that it is centralized, and it is centralized. So what's the next thing I want to display? So that's the first thing I want to display on my dashboard there. What's the next thing I want to display? I want to display a profile. Okay, I want to also display notification, so I'll just get to look for a notification icon. So I already have a notification icon here, and this is the one I want to use. So the next thing is I'm going to get this, and I'll just mount it on it. Reduce the size, and I just want it here. And which color am I even using? I don't know the color I'm using. So for now, let me just mount it and do it too. Reduce this to say 8, and so ensure that this is aligned. This is so this is it. So I'll group it together, and I'll also group it with this. So I'll bring it in my notification tab. So I'll just leave it there. And the next thing I want to get is see a profile setting, and I'll just get my circle. I'm picking a rectangle instead. So I just get my circle, and I would keep the circle here, and leave it like this. Then I'm going to um get my name, Boma Adinabu, and yes. So once I'm done, and I'll just let you know what next you need to do. So I'll make this 14. So this is 12. So for consistency's sake, let me make this 12, and then I'm going to duplicate this, and I would make this so what can I put there? I can Let me just say the admin. I just say admin, and this should be 10, and then I'm going to change this to semi bold, and for this color, okay. Okay, so I'll group these two, or Shift A, anyone. So I use Shift A to mostly group, and I'll do the same Shift A, and I'll keep it at the middle, and I'm done with this part. So I'll just need to bring it in here. So this is where I get to move this a bit in, and get to align all together to the center. Control G, and I'll align this together. So I have this, and I can now start putting anything I want to put here. So I need to get a picture. So let me right click, and okay, I have a picture. So let me just get a picture in. Now, for me, this is what I want to display here. Remember that is depending on the message you're trying to pass. With the message you're trying to pass, you can display anything. So I've seen some dashboards where they have settings here, or they have a drop down where people can log out, and you can log out from that drop down. You can change accounts and all of that. But this is not what me I want to display. This is just what I want to display. Remember that you always get to think about your target audience first, and what you need to give to them per time. So now that I have this, let me start working on this part of my screen. So the next thing I need to do is to bring in my logo. So this is where I'm going to place the logo. So what logo am I going to use? So let me go to plugins and Nigerian logo. So let me see. What kind of logo should I use? So let me use this. Okay. So I have this. So let me just see. So this is it. This is what I'm going to be using. So depending on where you want to place it. So for some people, they get to put, especially when you're designing for they get to put some other things here, or you can still put this here and increase the size and place it there. So if I'm placing it here, I need to align it with this. So I'll just align it, and I'm good to go with this part. So now the next thing is it's to create your other elements for dashboards, the other part of the dashboard that you want to see. So this is how I like creating it. I like creating it outside. I like creating it outside. So I'll start with the most important, which is home, and okay. So let me bring this in. So you know that sometimes when you use Figma and you try to expand, like this text now is looking very small here. Well, let me check it here. Okay. So this is my image is not here. So for this I'll just make it a 20. And the next thing I'll do is get to bring in my home icon. So I'll just start bringing in one after the other. Or what's that called? Dashboard. So I'm going to use home since I don't have dashboard. So this is supposed to be dashboard. And I'll just do my shift and A again, and I'll make the spacing 10. So now that I have this, I just need to duplicate them and Ctrl D, duplicate this, and I'll change this to say client, client. and I'll change this from here. I'll just come here and change it to people, and I'll do this two again. So before I make this to a shift A, I'm going to get to draw my rectangle. So maybe this is what I want to. So what I need to do is I'll group this, and do I want to use this style? No. Okay. I don't want to use this style. So instead I want to do something like this. Okay. So this is for indication that I'm on a particular path. So I'll just get to so these two, they're together. So I'm just going to do shift E here, and I have this. Now same thing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this here also, and for this I'm just going to hide this. So I'll go to my layer and I would hide it, so I don't have it there. And remember that I said this is client. So I'll get to change this and people. So I'll now get to do shift A again, and all I need to do now is just to duplicate it. Control D, and I'll say this should be products. Products. I'll look for my icon and I'll say products, or I'll say goods. I'll just look for something that is close to products and use. Okay, so let me just use this. Um, Control D, say messages, and change this to message or chats. And the settings, or the help, and help. What's the other one? Question. If it's not help, it's question. So I need to change this message to normal messaging. So I have all of this here, and all I need to do is to increase the space between them and bring it into my dashboard. So I'm going to reduce this to Okay, so I have this. Take it off a bit, and you can just get to increase the space. And all I need to do is now to focus on the colors that I'll be using here. So let's say I'm using this color. I'm using that color. So this is the color I'm using. So for this, I'm just going to reduce the colors here. Mhm. So just say 60. 80. No, 70. So what am I going to keep under here? I need to have something like a logout. So I'll just get to copy this, Control D, but I'll bring it outside of it and keep it here. And yeah, logout. So um I'm just going to do my logout. So change this to logout. So for this, I can just change the layout. So I want to now look for okay. So that way, okay. So what are the elements I want to display on this particular dashboard? This is where I get to think of everything that I want to display. So first, I'll get to draw and use my rectangle to draw to this place. You can see that my alignment is actually following. So I want to get my alignment right. So I'll keep this box at the center. So this is where you need to also consider another thing. While I like this color of my screen, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this color, Ctrl C, and I would remember that if I have a style guide, I'm not going to be doing all of these things. So I will draw another rectangle to place it here. So the reason why I'm doing another rectangle is so that I can be able to I can be able to um well I'm thinking of the word. Anything I want to do on this screen, it will give me that flexibility to be able to arrange everything I want to arrange on this screen. It's because of my system. So it's the system I'm using. Okay, so this is it. Um, I'll just give it like this, and I'll just bring this back here, and I'll turn this to white, pure white, and why? I want to arrange this to the center. I want to be sure that I know where it is. So you can see that now I have my arrangement tab. So with this, I can be able to check this. I need to check this and be sure that it's aligned. Yeah. I also need to check this to be sure that it's aligned. Okay. So there's one thing here. I need to put my red mark. Sign off. This should be white and this should be red. So arrange it again. Remember what I talked about alignment. Ensure that it's always aligned. Yeah, so now that I have this, what data do you think I want to I want to put here? So this is too big. 100. Okay. So I have 4 things I want to be able to place here. I want to be able to put the total revenue, invoice, client, and maybe any other thing that comes to my head. So this is where I'll get to now start thinking what exactly am I doing. So this I'm going to I'm going to increase this a bit, and I would add a little corner radius to make it 10. And now this is where the main work starts from. So I want something like a total revenue. So I'd get to pick up my text and I would say total revenue. So what font size am I using here? 10. What is here? 6. So I'm just going to make it 10. Let me see. Okay, so I have this, and the next one is to duplicate it and make this 20. I want to make my money stand out, and I would say 20k or 200k, depending. Yeah, so there's no need calculating money in naira again. And then what do I also want people to see? I want to uh, be able to let people know if it is increasing or it is reducing. So I'm going to look for an asset and say revenue. There's no revenue in my asset, so I'll use money. So when you are designing things like this, you need to know synonym and antonym, because once you search for one and you can't find it, you need to look for the other one. It's total revenue, money coming in or money going out, is money coming in. So I'll get to do this, and so I have this. This is not supposed to be regular. This is supposed to be bold. Okay, so let me use my shift A here, and then shift A, 10. Uh, so I have this first version of what I want to display here. I have my first version of what I want to display there. Let me see this. Okay, guys, is it looking too small or too big? So I need your opinion here. Is it looking too small or too big?
It's looking too small.
Looking kind of big to me.
It's big to you.
It's looking big.
And it's looking small in my own eyes.
No, then you have to leave it like this then.
Okay, so I think I want to include one more thing. Uh, so I want to include one more thing. Let's go. So I'll bring it down. I want to be able to add something like this to see because I'm an admin. Remember that depending on the people you are working with, I'm an admin. So I want to be able to see if it increased and how it increased. So let me pick up my pen and I'll see dollar. It increased by 200. It increased by 20k or $20 or $80. So let's say it increased by $80 this month. So the next thing I'll do is to bring in my arrow to show that it increased. Saying that it increased. So I'll just 14/14 saying that it increased. Then I'll leave it. This is too big. 12, and this is supposed to be regular or light for that matter. Regular or light, any of them. So I'm using pure black, which is an abomination in UI UX. But it is what it is. This is for class purpose. But if you use pure black in your design, I'll fault you. But for me, I'm permitted because this is okay. So I have this now, and I'll just so I'll bring it here. I'll do this to first. Shift A, and there's no space in between them. I'll take it out a bit, make it 5. Can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, so it's not just you. That's the icon. So one thing I like about this particular icon is hello. Yeah, it's because of the icon set.
Okay.
So one thing I like about this particular icon is you can edit it. So I can change it to 1. It's because of the icon set actually and how it's built. So you can reduce the what's it called? The stroke. Before it was too thick. That was why we were able to notice that it's two different colors. So you can see this. You can see the first color and you can see the second color. That is the icon set. I'm going to share it. It's what's it called again? Let me confirm the name again. View sacks. So I think it's another set of view sacks. So I'll delete this and then I'll bring this up into this, and so I'll get to Control G, and so the first thing to do now is I need to use a green color, and so this should be say 10 or 15. Oh, let me leave it at 20. I don't like this green color. Oh, let me see. Okay, I prefer this one. So and I'll just okay. I need to lock this screen so that it doesn't move. Let me lock it so it won't move. So this is, I want to keep it somewhere there to show that um so I'll increase this a bit. I'll increase the spacing a bit to say 20, and I would increase the size a bit too, and I'll just drop this here. I just want this to be somewhere around there, and so this is ten. Well, let me give it a 10. I don't have strength. Uh, okay, so yeah, I can notice that too. So let me just increase it to 24, and so I'll bring it back here, and I'll just ungroup it because this is not giving me what I want to see. Okay. So okay. So now that I have this, I need to hasten up to do the other. I have one of it, so I can just do the other ones and just change what I need to change. So first I need something like a line to demarcate it because I'm not doing it as individual screen. So I'll just get a line. Is this line straight? Yes, it is. And I'll get to use a stroke here from, okay. So I have this, so all I need to do is Shift A and duplicate this, duplicate, and duplicate this, and move it there, then duplicate this. I need 4 of these sets. Okay, so Ctrl D, and this should be here. One more line, and this should be here. So something like this. Let me just reduce the. So I have the lines demarcating all of them. So I just need to be changing this. This is money received. This is money sent a different way, and let's say did the thing increase or did the thing reduce. So if it reduce, I'll just look for a red and make it show that it's reduced. So I'll change this to 90. I think 90 is upside down. No, 180. Yeah. So the next one is so I'll just get to fill in what I want to fill in and all of that. So let's say the next one is clients. So this is total revenue. If it's not revenue, it's total debit or anything I want to call it. Total revenue, total expenses, total expense. Let me just change this to 260. This should be clients. So I'll change this to people. People, total clients, and say favorites. Favorites, and I'll change this from dollar to total clients is not money, so I'll remove this, and favorites should be 70%. 70% people likes this, and I'll just change this to love. So I'll just increase this a bit again so that the spacing would be equal. Okay. So this is where you can get to give it the colors you want to give it. No, the color you're dealing with. Please, if I use any color here, just manage it. And you get to do all the color things you want to do. That if you have plenty colors to use, ensure that these colors are matching, because it's not just to use colors and at the end of the day they are not matching. So I can also change the stroke of this to 2. I can change all the strokes to 2, 3, depending on how I want it to show. This to 2. You can see that I'm ensuring that they are all consistent to, and so the color I'll need to use for this also, I'll just get to um so I'm just using any color I'm using any color that is in my head for now. So but when you get to do yours, there's no any color, because you would have a style guide that would be guiding you. I just succeeded in doing color riots with different colors, but for this class is accepted, right? Okay, so you can see how it's turning, how it's going and all of that. So this is the first thing, the first set of things, or the first thing I want to place on the dashboard. Then the next thing is I want to be able to get a chart of monthly revenue. So I'll pick up my rectangle, and before I pick up my rectangle, I would want to look at what's it called. I would have used a frame here, but since I did not use a frame, let me just see. I want to divide my screen in such a way that so I'll just take this and I'll start from where this is starting. I want to divide my screen in such a way that it's going to be properly aligned. Okay. So the spacing here is what can't remember. Let me check the spacing. The spacing is 20. So for me, this is what I'm now going to do. So I'll turn this off and ensure that. So this is how I divided the screen. So anything I'm designing will take this. So the next thing I do is most times I group all of these, Control G, and okay. So I have this two. I'll do Shift A and I'll make this 20. Consistency across board. This is 20, this is 20. I'll just ungroup it after doing that and think of what's next to include. So this is obviously too long and too big, but then depending on what I want to put there, remember to always this is 10, so I'll make this 10 and I'll make this 10. So I'm going to get a chart here and so maybe some other thing here. Now the next one is I want to now draw. I'll just bring this here, Control D. I'll bring this here. Okay. So I'll Control D this and I'll bring this here. So this is how I want to arrange my stuff. For this, I'm going to put recent customers or recent clients that joined. For this, I want to do something like a notification or activities. From this, I want to be able to sell something. I want to be able to sell to or I want to be able to download different things. Now, remember that I said this is an admin part, so I'm going to think of what to display here. But if it's for students, I'm going to, or for users, I'll just display maybe a download. Hello? Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we
Okay,
can
so
see you.
someone unmuted and was saying something. You can see that all through my design, they have 20 pixels every part. This is 20. Aside from this first part that I can still decide to make it 20 by just adding a text here. Dashboard slash home or admin slash dashboard. I might still decide to add a text there. So that everything will just be 20, 20, 20. So let me add the text and let me add the text. So it's already passed. So let me just get the text here. Control A, Control C, and I'll just paste it here, Control V. Just say D slash. Okay, so there's one thing we did not put. Who can easily spot that? There's something we did not put that is somehow important. No, not dates.
The Did I say like the page, title of the page? Maybe overview,
Okay, so that's a text, yeah. I would not put it because maybe it's an admin. Remember that it's based on your audience. So there's something, it's just like your onboarding screen. You do not welcome your user to the platform, something like welcome Boomer, then probably a date or anything. But then remember that your designs should be friendly. Just the way if it's a user that is coming in, you just tell the user, welcome Boomer or welcome this, welcome that. But yeah, we did not welcome this person and I just started designing. So we are going to actually complete it. Um this is where we're going to end for today. Is there any question? So I've already laid out the different things I'll design. So from on Wednesday, we'll be designing all of these individually, one. So I'm not going to pick any item from community. I'm going to design them from scratch, from the um from the chart to anything we are going to use here. We're going to design it from scratch together. So any question, guys? Is there any question? Okay, so not an onboarding screen, something like this. So most dashboards, you would always see it in most dashboards, something like welcome Boomer, with something like this, or a comma, then so it's mostly if you check on most dashboard, you see it on top, yeah, on top. But some people don't also put it because you already have the profile here. But for profile, sometimes profile does to carry the full name. You might see the email address of the person instead of the full name. So that's why it's advisable that you just put something here. It's sometimes it comes around here. Sometimes it comes around here. So let me show you an example from. Okay, can you see it? Something like this. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Welcome, Buma. Welcome to your dashboard and all of that. It's you can see that it's on the same line with where you have the notification and all of that, and this is down here. So it's just based on your arrangement, how you want to arrange your designs and all of that. You can see that this is black because that's what the person wants to use as a color. I wanted to do this, but at the end of the day, I stopped it to use the other way, to use this instead to show that I'm on this dashboard. Okay, so is there another question? Any question? Any question? Okay, seems that there is no question. Believe, do you have anything to add or any message you want to pass across?
For me, I don't think I have something to add, but I want to say something. I want us to be very interactive in classes. Okay, please, if there's any question or they ask any question, please just answer. All of us, we are here to learn. Okay, so we are not